Hey, what's up everyone? It's Mel from Fortin Amps, and in this video, I'm going to show you how I made the Boss DS1 sound like this with the help of the grind. So if y'all haven't watched the previous video on the channel, in that video, I dialed in the Boss DS1 and the grind to sound a little something like this. More modern, more metalcore, a little bit of a modern tone with that classic DS1 crunch. In this video, I'm going to show y'all how I use the DS1 to get a solid usable tone and amp it up with the grind. So without further ado, let's jump into it. In this video, I'm using my Legator Overdrive with Guitarmory pickups running into the grind and then the DS1. After that, I have it plugged directly into my interface, so that'll simulate it plugged into the effects return. So I'm using the DS1 to bypass my amp preamps. So I'm using the DS1 as a pseudo head in this situation. I was inspired to do this while watching many other creators like Drusif make the Boss Metal Zone sound brutal and usable. And as for what I got going on in the computer, since the Boss is plugged in directly into the interface, I have just the Fortin Cali suite, the head turned off, and I'll be using the Zool to gate the hum that I get, as well as the cab section. So that being said, let's start by turning on the DS1. To be honest, it already sounds pretty usable and solid. A little muffly and a little dark for my taste, especially for metal, because I really want like a nice solid pick attack. So for testing all of this out, I'm just going to start with chugs and see what happens when I turn the knobs on the pedals. So it sounds like it's this bandpass thing going on. So I'm going to try to get the best of both frequencies with just the tone knob. At about there. And I'm hearing a little bit of that pick scrape that we all like for that definition. A little too much and it starts to thin out the bottom end, so I'm definitely going to just roll that back until I get that nice palm mute chug. Next up, let's check out the level. In my personal experience, I think it's just straight up the signal. It's not adding any color, it's just the signal level. So let's play around with the... Alright, so next, let's play around with the distortion. Diming the distortion gives me a solid, beefy texture to it, and I really like it. That's fun. I dig that tone from the DS1. Never thought I'd say that, but you know what? It sounds solid. And let's turn on the grind just to see what more the grind can do. So automatically the grind brightens up the tone a ton, which means I now can play with this tone knob here to give me back that low end while I still retain that cool pick attack. Now that I'm here, let's mess around with the saturation characteristics and let's see what balance of grind and DS1 distortion we can get. It's a really interesting experience because when you dime the grind, and then run it into a backed off distortion, it feels like more like a fuzz. And then it seems to do this weird compression. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it feels like the transients come back and then the distortion kind of comes back up like this. So I'm gonna back off the grind. Then let's... Yeah, it gets really nasally and sounds more like a raw tube screamer. To be honest, I think the distortion dimed and the grind at 12 o'clock. Pulling back the distortion, you get this really cool, like, kind of intro DI type feel. It's fun, but for a more useful tone, I would say anywhere above 12 o'clock and then cook it if you want. I have to say that a huge part of the distortion qualities and why the tone, in my opinion, sounds so good, especially since the DS1 is the main distortion unit, is the cab IR tones in the Fortin Cali. Without it, it sounds like this. Really crazy, really harsh. And to be honest, that's what any normal amp sim would sound like. But when you can sculpt it, that's the tone you get. And it's super smooth. And that's just the default setting on the Fortin Cali. That being said, there you have it. That's how I dialed in the Boss DS1 with the Fortin grind for last week's demo. And if you want to hear it, here's that song again. Or there it is, how I dialed in the Boss DS1 with the grind. And I have to say the results are pretty cool. I learned a lot about how much the Cabsim really affects the guitar tone and how distortion units and distortion preamps can really be affected in various different ways. A couple suggestions in last week's comment, so I definitely will be trying out those suggestions in the upcoming videos. What do you all think? Do you think that this guitar tone is usable? I know that the Boss DS1 is traditionally everyone's first pedal, but stacking with the grind gives it a nice bite, and I think I really did strive for a unique tone. If you like this tone, please hit the thumbs up button, ring the bell for notifications, and please give me some suggestions for new tone stacks and different ideas that I could use with any of the Fortin gear. Again, my name's Mel from Fortin Amps, and I'll catch you on the next one.